Hi everyone. In this video I'm going to walk you through the first part of the first project, the little math quiz project in the Tap Move Shake book. We'll start by starting up Xcode, and depending on how you've set things up, you may get this dialog box to start. If you do, just click on Create a New Project. If you don't get that dialog box, you'll get this same starting point just by going to File, New, and then Project. So it doesn't matter how you arrive here. Just a reminder, I'm going to do this pretty much by rote. I will explain some of the details of this environment separately. So I just want to walk you through what you'll actually need to do to get this project going. You'll have to disregard a lot of things that you don't understand, but that's okay. I'm trying to have you get comfortable with the environment, and from there we'll branch out and try to understand things a little better. So we'll start with a single view application, click Next, and now we'll type in the name of the project. I'm going to call it the Math Quiz. That's not what the book calls it, but that way we'll distinguish what I'm typing from what the book is typing. I'm using my URL in reverse as a company identifier. You can put any reasonable string in here. You can just put your name, Joe.Smith, or it doesn't matter. It's just a label, but you can't have spaces or other weird characters in here. For the class prefixes, I'm just going to put MQ for Math Quiz. In the book, he has the same thing up here and down here, but I'm going to make them different so that you can tell where what you see in the code is coming from. So when you see MQ, you'll know it's because of what I typed in here. So for device, we'll choose the iPhone. We'll leave all these other options unchecked and click Next. Now at this point, Xtools is going to generate a set of code files that are sort of the raw material for your project. It will create a new folder to put them in, and at this point all you have to do is decide where that folder is going to go. You can see that I have some other projects here, and it doesn't matter where you put this as long as you know where it is. And we will leave this unchecked for now and click Create. Alright, we will just accept our initial options as they are, and we will start to use the interface builder. And it's this XIB file that contains the description of how your application is going to look. And you'll notice that this MQ prefix I provided earlier is prepended to the file name. So we'll just click on this, and the interface builder automatically opens. We have this rectangle here that represents the iPhone or iPod layout, and we just need to start dragging some things onto it, and they will come from the lower right hand corner down here. Let me drag this boundary up so we have a little more room, and you need to click on the little cube here that shows the object library. That's what we're looking for. So make sure you see something like this. The first thing we're going to do is drag a label onto the top. And a label is just something that contains some text. The program can control it, but the user cannot change it. So let's just drag a label up here. And as you drag stuff around, you'll notice that little clues pop up, little guidelines. This right now it thinks I'm trying to center this, so it gives me some help. And I am trying to center it, but only horizontally. So I'll just drop it there. And I want to change it to Ask Question Here. So I will just double click on it and type in the text I want. Whoops. And as a result of the size of that, it's off-centered, so I'll just drag it until my little guideline appears, and now that label is centered. Next, we will want a text field. This will be something in which the user can enter something. We'll just drag that over here. And while the user will be entering text, we'll just put some temporary text in here so that we know what this is for. So we'll just type in answer. Whoops. And as you can see, if you have this particular icon clicked for the attributes inspector, depending on which screen element we've selected, we get some information about the properties of that element. And I'm not going to go into this in any detail here, but you can see that the text is showing in this text field here for this and for this. Now we need a button to submit our answer, so we'll just drag this onto here. And you can see it's helping us line it up. I want it kind of roughly centered with the answer box, so we'll just put it here. And we could double click and put some text on it, but just to show you it's the same thing, I'm going to put the, whoops, that's not what I wanted. I'm going to put the text up here. So we'll just type submit. And now it appears on the button as well. Alright, at this point we have our layout, but our code doesn't yet know how to communicate with these things. And that's the next thing we have to settle. And the way we do that is by using the assistant editor here. And that's, I guess this is supposed to be like a little butler with a bow tie or something because it's an assistant. Anyway, we'll click on it here, and our header file pops up. And just to remind you, the header file contains definitions, and the corresponding implementation file, this .m file over here, contains definitions. The declarations are kind of the contract between that bit of code and other parts of your code. They say how to talk to it and kind of promise what it's going to do, but that's all. And it's in the implementation file that you get into the nitty-gritty of what it's actually going to do. And that's what we want here, just the declarations, just, how do we contact these things? How do we communicate with them? So first of all, we'll make a connection for this label, the question field. So we'll mouse over the field and right-click, and we get this menu here. And what we need to do is grab this little handle here and drag it over to the code here in between this interface and end keywords. And you'll notice that the insertion line doesn't pop up everywhere else, so we're really not allowed to put it in the wrong place. So we just guide it over here and let go, and then we get a dialog. UI label is correct, outlet is correct, but we have to give it a name. I'm going to give it a more descriptive name than they give it in the book, and I'll call it the question label. And click connect, and it inserts the proper declaration for us. Now we'll do something similar with the answer field. Once again, we will right click and find this particular handle, the referencing outlet, and well, I could drag it up here and do the same thing, but I'm going to show you a little shortcut. We'll dismiss this dialog box, and now I am going to control click and drag, or right click and drag, over this box here. And I can bypass that dialog box and let go here. And we are accomplishing the same thing. And I'm going to, again, give it a more descriptive label than the book gives it, and type in answer field, using the camel case convention of starting with a lowercase and then capitalizing each subsequent word. Okay, finally let's deal with the button. And for this we have to do something a little different, because when we click on the button we want to trigger an action. So we're not going to define a property, we're going to define a method or routine to call. Or rather, I should say we're declaring it. So if we right click and get the dialog, the event we want to trigger on is touch up inside, which means we've pressed the button and the action will happen when we release it. And if we close this dialog box and take the shortcut again of Control, click, and drag, we get a dialog here, and we have to change this connection to an action. And as you see, we get the touch up inside event by default. And all we have to do now is give this a name. And we'll just call this submit like the book does. That's good enough a name. Okay, in the next part we'll write the actual definitions, the guts of this application, but to keep this video brief, I will do that in the next video. So get started and enjoy.